All right. Welcome to John Michael's Rock Box. I'm your host, John Michael, and I'd like to welcome just an amazing talent. Now, I need my glasses because, well, I've gotten to this point where I need them, and that's just all there is to that. So let's welcome well-known comedian actor Dannon Green, who wrote, directed, narrated, produced a film about a little-known boxing gym in Philadelphia and two men that tried to save the youth and give something that many of them didn't have at home. And that's love, hope, a father figure, and respect. So, Dannon Green, welcome. It's good to have you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you, John. Thank you for having me on your show.
This is
I really
great.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for spending a little time. And I know you're a busy guy. Just from this little list that I read of all these things that you do, my friend, I see you found a little time to share with me.
Well, I think you're just as important as my little bit of time that I do with myself.
You're great, man. I love you already. You're fabulous. Let's talk a little bit about this movie. It's called The Executioners. We all had a chance. All right. And for those of you wondering where you could see this, it's the Fox-owned free ad-supported streaming service called Tubi with Tubi.
Yes.
Tubi.com. And so
Yes.
you put this up there. What prompted you to do a movie about boxing?
Well, I'm a former Golden Gloves champion. I used to fight. I still do work out. I grew up in Philadelphia. I grew up going to that gym that I wrote about, that I did the film on. And I just felt there was a story there to be told because of the name, the history. And I just felt like this had to be, we always hear about the boxing documentaries, but my boxing documentary, John, is the first boxing documentary ever done about a boxing team ever. Most boxing documentaries have been about individual fights or fighters.
Sure.
Mine is the first about a team. And I'm talking about some young men, myself included, that came in there and had an opportunity to not only become great fighters, but life decisions cost some of them. And I tell the story about it.
Oh, well, this is true. You're right. Most every boxing documentary and or movie that I've ever seen was always centered around a one person kind of a deal.
Yes.
And so how is it that this team made this gym and this movie for you? I mean, come to life. What was it?
Well, what happened was I had went back to Philadelphia to do a comedy show.
Right.
And one of my old teammates was there at the show. So I was talking to him about the fighters that, from the past who I hadn't seen and spoken to in years.
Right.
And I asked him about one of the trainers that was if he was still alive. And he said, yeah, Frank is still alive. We knew Marvin Gordon had died in 1996. So I didn't talk to Frank in years. And he gave me his number. So when I got back to LA, about October, I just said, let me call him. See, I called him. I hadn't talked to him. And I hadn't talked to this man, John, in over 30 years. And when I spoke with him, I said, hey, this is Dannon Green. I used to box for you when I was a kid. And he goes, Dannon Green, Felton Street, Southpaw, good fighter. Yeah, I remember you. And I almost came to tears, man, because he remembered everything about me. And we talked for about 30 minutes about things going on in life, what was going on with me in my life, in my career. They only knew because I lost my mom when I was a kid and I had to move.
Right.
So I moved when I was 15. So what happened was we talked and we had a great talk, and then I hung up the phone. And about early November, John, I was laying in my bed and I said, somebody's got to tell this story.
Right.
I said, someone has to tell the story because when this man passes, all of this history is going to go to the ground with him. And this is an amazing story. And when people, also I thought about when people type in the Executioners, Philadelphia, Bernard Hopkins' name comes up. And I just wanted to tell the story. And I didn't know if there really was a story there, but when I viewed him first, the first fighter, and how emotional they got about their lives, I knew I had something. And I just went and did it. And it was when you see this documentary and your people see it, you know, it's a story about young men that were taught. Well, a lot of us have mentors and people that can direct us, right?
Sure.
And they'll take you, you know, they'll take you to the well, take you to the water, take you to the lake to tell you to drink. But the decisions you make at the end when you get there is what's going to either make you or break you in life. And that's what this documentary is about.
Right. And now, you know, I want to show this trailer that you created here in a minute, but I didn't. Well, let me just start that over. Philadelphia is kind of like, isn't that the same town that Rocky movies were centered around, right?
Yes.
Yes. And the same kind of, I think, premise is boxing saved his life, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so, and I guess in the boxing world around there like that, in this case too, what you're talking about, saved a lot of kids. I mean, you were part of the, you know, going to the gym.
I could say it saved my life too. I could save my life too, because the history of me is I'm a foster kid.
Right.
I was adopted out of New York, and I was adopted and raised in Philadelphia by my mom. And she died though when I was 15. And I had to move. And I mean, I had a very tough upbringing for the next 3-4 years, going to 4 high schools, things like that. But the discipline of boxing and what these guys had taught me before I left Philadelphia, it stayed with me all my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. After my mom, what happened when my mom passed? I had to move out of Philadelphia, and it really, I went to 4 high schools. I lived in 3 different states, and I truly believe that boxing and the discipline that these men showed me helped me move my life in the right direction. And again, they spoke to all of us the same way. Like every single fighter that came to that gym started 0-0. It's not like someone came from another gym and joined us.
Right.
That's why that record is so unique and really enormous, because we all fought out of that one particular gym and came up. Right. But I know that if it wasn't for the discipline of boxing, I can't tell you where I would have gone. Sure. But other guys, they had men, you know, tell them what to do. They had these 2 men, but they didn't do everything and the right way. And as I was saying earlier, to me, John, there's nothing more powerful than to hear a man said, you know, as he gets older, I wish I would have listened to these guys. I wish if I did just what they told me to do, my life, and the guy says it, my life would have been so much better. And that's what we need. Yeah. And
so now life itself in Philadelphia is really tough.
Oh,
right?
It's a rough town, brother. Philadelphia is a rough town. It's a tough town. And I'm talking about from all areas. I'm not just talking about the black areas. I'm talking about the white areas. Philadelphia, the city, is a tough town.
Oh man. And you know, so from the movies that you gather, and you can only guess that, you know, that is it really that tough? But apparently, yeah, it's really that tough. And so, Dannon, I think if you don't mind, I would like to show that trailer. If you're good with that.
Yeah, why not? Show that trailer. Yes, that'd be great.
All right, let's take a peek at this trailer from the Executioners.
In 1974, 2 men from West Philadelphia would assemble the greatest collection of young fighters the country would ever see.
You know the way the Executioners started? They had 12 guys. And these guys was tearing it up.
Everyone knew that Philadelphia fighters could fight.
Only fighting style was tough, but they were slick.
I don't think there was none like this gym out of Philadelphia.
But like they say, all good things must come to an end.
I got shot, victim of crime. I walked up to a situation that was a problem with somebody else.
Kelly would never fight again.
I got locked up and had to go do 18 months, and It was one of the saddest times of my life.
Yeah, I feel like I disappointed a lot of people. Yeah, I disappointed myself.
Now, I'm going to tell you one good thing what Toochie told me. He said, you know, Frank, we can help these kids. We can help a lot of kids to get on their feet and do this. My mind at that time was, I don't know what he's talking about, these kids. I'm going to make a chance.
Bernard Hopkins. He stole the name from us.
Oh, Bernard Hopkins. He wasn't the real executioner. I was the real executioner.
The executioners, we all had a chance.
That's powerful.
That's powerful, man.
My friend, that is just outstanding. You
Thank
know,
you so much.
the trailers always suck me in, and that one's sucking me in. I love that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it tells it. You know, the trailer almost tells you what that story is going to be like. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I tell you, I can't actually believe, it's going to sound crazy, that I achieved what I achieved with it, because when I went to shoot, it's hours of footage. I went to New York, Charlotte, North Carolina. I shot in LA. I shot in Philly, but to put it together and to see it really tell that story, it just touches me. It just really touches me.
My goodness. And you know, Dannon, for somebody, because I have never put together a film. This is the extent of my film creation, is podcasting.
Right.
My goodness. So it's the concept, the reaching out to, your actors or people, in your case, is a documentary.
The fighters, the guys. Yeah.
Yeah, your fighters. Okay, I got to make a phone call to so-and-so who knows so-and-so who might know so-and-so.
Yes.
And then you got to write out your script, right? Because you're still going to need something like that for a documentary.
The documentary was written out on 160 4x5 cards.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and by hand. I narrated it. Here's the crazy thing about it. Now, this is what I really find so interesting is I interviewed all of the guys first over a 2-3 month period.
Right.
And when I started gathering information and footage and stuff, I was able to get pictures and footage that matched their interviews. And to me, that was what was really impressive for me. And I don't know if you should be impressed with what you do, but that was something that was really, really something that I really took pride in. Let me say that.
Absolutely, because eye candy is half of the story.
Yes.
Sound is a big deal, but man, when you've got photos to share with your explanation of stuff, it helps.
Yes.
Because you can only imagine so many different things in your head. Right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so, what was the hardest part? Was the actual, like, how do I start? Is okay, I know what I want to do.
Right. I think the hardest part for me was not really telling the story, but hopefully telling it compelling enough, moving it back together.
Right.
And if you see it, it's the fact that I had, I didn't want it to put it this way. I just didn't want it to be a question and answer type of documentary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And one thing that I did that's very different than any other documentary, whether it's basketball or football. John, I did not interview one person together. They all had separate interviews. Only the Clark brothers were interviewed together. Everybody else was interviewed separately in a room by themselves.
Wow. And so
for them, right.
And so now you're talking travel time and all this stuff, right?
Well, not only that, but because you're interviewing everybody individually, each person had to tell their own story.
Sure.
But what it made it unique was they would tell a story, and then I would interview another guy, and I would not ask them questions. I would just say, well, tell me about what's going on, and I would let them go. And they would wind up telling some of the same story that the other guy told.
Oh.
So they wouldn't know. So I would ask them about one fighter, and then they were able to tell me something about him, and then it would relate to what the other fighter was talking about. So that's how I was able to weave the whole documentary back together. And that's what was very unique. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. Oh, gee.
And I scored the music, and I scored it too. I scored it.
Did. And you did.
Yes.
That. And you scored it. And
yes.
Goodness, man. Look at you.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and never did a feature before.
No, huh?
Mm-mm.
Wow. You know, from the taste of that trailer, my goodness, man, you would have thought, you know, the 20th Century Fox was in there backing you up.
I wish 20th Century Fox was, but maybe my next one. But, you know, John, I think as people, when you're passionate about something,
sure.
When you really know that you have something, you actually take the time to figure it out.
Right.
And I was blessed enough at that time financially, because I had did a number of commercials. I was okay to just focus on trying to put it together. I used all my money. I have a partner. This was financed between me and my partner, nobody else. I had no sponsorship, you know, and so it was a chore, but I knew it had to be done. And I believe that this story will go down. I truly believe, and I don't want to toot my horn, and I don't want any of your guests or people to think, but I truly believe that my documentary is the best ever done for how it was done and the story behind it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes, absolutely, my friend. And
John, I can go ahead. I apologize.
No worries. I was just going to say, for those of you who are just tuning in or listening via just audio, it is well-known comedian actor Dannon Green, who we're talking to, who wrote, I might add, as I put my glasses on, directed, narrated, produced a film about a little-known boxing gym in Philadelphia. The movie, The Executioners, We All Had a Chance, which is out on the Fox-owned free ad-supported streaming service called Tubi. So it's Tubi with an I, TV.com. And so,
and you type in, once you get to Tubi, you type in The Executioners, and you'll see the poster, my poster. And my doc is doing so well that my poster is now, when you type in The Executioners or boxing documentaries, my poster is in the top 2 lines right now.
Right. In fact, you know what? I think I want to kind of see if I can find it and share this poster. There it is. There we are. Hey, what a picture! Are you in there?
Yes, there it
is. Are you part of that?
Of the poster?
Yes.
No, I did not. I purposely did not put myself in the poster. I did everything else. I said, no, I can't have my face on the poster too. That's a little too vain.
Vanity only runs so far.
Yeah, I do have a limit. I got to be honest with you, John. So I figured that would be just going a little bit too far.
Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, you know, so Dannon, let me ask you. So now that you are in the movie business, for those of us, and for, well, I've kind of learned a little bit, but there are many out there that will look, you know, and when they see the credits go by and they see director, producer, let's just start with those two. What is a director? Right. What is a producer?
Well, one reason that you see my name all over is because, one, I financed it, right. And two, cost effect, I had to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, I had to do it. It wasn't that I wanted to be so-called on every line, but I had to do it. The director, I wrote it, and then I directed it. So when you directed, I was in the editing bay with the editors, but what I did was I went through we have over 30, 40 hours of footage. I went through every single bit of footage at least 3 times.
Oh.
Everybody's interview. Because what I did was I had to go through it, listen to it, see what I felt was important, and then take that time and write it out. So to give it to the editors. Yes. So this was, I spent months in Starbucks. I spent weeks and days in
a lot of coffee.
There's a place called The Crave on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, and I spent hours there. Leaving at 2, 3 in the morning, just going through hours of footage. But I had to, and then I had to write it out in books, and then I wrote it out on 4x5 cards.
And then you had to score it, correct? So you found the music to put in there.
Well, what I did, thank God through friends, I have 2 friends that are music producers. One is a Ro Holiday. He's a big time producer out here in Cali. And then my other one, a friend is Sticks out of Connecticut. Ro Holiday, who I'm a golfer, so I've golfed with him. He's known me for a while, and I've always wanted to do work with him. I told him I had the movies, and I always, numbers of years ago, I always say, look, bro, if I ever got something, I want to bring you in. So when it came down to this, it was nothing to bring him in on, but I said, bro, I need help. And he's like, what's wrong? I said, I need some music, man, and I need some beats. And he said, okay. And he said, write this link down. And I wrote the link down. He said, now write this password down. I wrote the password down. He said, now, he gave me access to his music library. 1,400 songs.
Oh my.
He said, hey, whatever you need, you can use. And then the guy in Connecticut, Stephen Sticks, he produced 20 tracks for me. So between the 20 tracks and the 1,400 songs, I was able to, and I went through a lot of those songs to take beats and moments from there and put into the documentary.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. This was not, yeah.
So just so all of you, don't forget to like and share and subscribe to this John Michaels Rockbox, but it's Dannon Green on here. So Dannon, from start to finish, how long did it take you?
From start to finish, November of 2017 to December 3rd of 2019.
Ooh.
Well, let me say that. I'll say January of 2020, because that's when the trailer was done. So in terms of everything being done.
So your trailer was done in 2019 or 20?
No, 20.
Okay.
2000. Trailer was done in 2020. The film was completed December of 2019.
Got it.
And then I did the trailer, and right when and then after that, I started applying to film festivals. And then bam, end of February, beginning of March, pandemic comes and everything gets slowed down and sliced up. But the pandemic actually helped me. It actually helped.
Yeah.
Well,
that's good then.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was able to go back in and tweak some things, and I did. So I was able to go back in, tweak, and then I got accepted into 11 film festivals. I won awards. Thank you. I won awards in 2. And June 18th of this month, I'll be screening my movie at the Manhattan Film Festival in Manhattan, New York.
Good man. Good man. Yeah. Well, when you put your heart and soul into something like that, and you just, with this, and I'll say it, balls to the wall.
Yes.
You can sense the pride in that movie or song or whatever it is that you happen to be doing. In this case, for Dannon, it's a movie, and people see it and they feel it. And so, accolades to you, my friend. And I hope you win.
Thank you so much.
Hope you don't have enough shelves for all the awards you're going to get. It's what I hope.
Well, I hope that, you know what I'm really hoping too? I hope that it will show the world and Hollywood that I have the talent, because I have 5 screenplays complete and ready to go, 5 movie scripts. But I believe that the documentary is the hardest thing to make.
Sure.
more than a film, because the script, you know the script, you just shoot the scene. But in a documentary, even though you do all these interviews, you got to find a way to put it together. So hopefully people will see that, investors, whatever, because I want to, I love doing stand-up. I'm always going to do stand-up, but I just love writing and doing movies. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, and I think maybe this is probably going to touch a lot of lives, from,
you have no idea how many people that have texted me, DM me, inbox me, saying how they saw their life in it. They really felt for, everybody had their favorite fighter or favorite story of the fighter, because it's a human interest story. Women really liked it. Like a lot of people say, well, what about women love? I'm telling you, this documentary is a human interest story. It's not just about fights. It's about these guys that really had an opportunity to do something with their lives, and some of them made bad decisions. So it doesn't end like la la la, like, you know what I mean? Oh, what a great, no, it's like, wow. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And that's the way it should be, So Dannon, if people are looking for you and say want to find you, or maybe just see a little bit more about you, where can people find you?
Please follow me on my Instagram, Dannon Green 66, Dannon Green 66, and excuse me, Facebook, Dannon Green. I don't tweet yet, but I'm getting ready to start tweeting. Then give me a Twitter account. But because I said I better not get a Twitter account just yet, because then I won't have, I'll probably get in trouble. I won't have a career. I got to be real smart. But no, I really appreciate everybody following me and following my, the life of this documentary and what my career is doing, because I really truly believe this documentary is going to really change a lot of lives, because it's really a great story. It really is. And it's a mainstream story. Everybody's life is in that documentary. Everybody's life.
That is great. And again, it's Dannon Green. The movie is out on, again, the Fox-owned free ad-supported streaming service, Tubi, Tubi, which is tubitv.com. The movie you're looking for, he says, Dan says, once you, Dan, when you get on there, just start typing the Executioners and that'll pop right up. In fact, you are
right. Type in the list. Right. You type the Executioners, and my poster pops right up there. You can see it. It's posted of about 6 fighters and 2 men. Yep.
It's going to be fabulous. And so this quickly, before we let you go, Dan, and chat about your comedy. Are you going to be on the road doing comedy? And I would imagine you're kind of tired from this.
I have some shows coming up this week. I'm currently writing my special, because I'm going to shoot a special at the end of the summer.
Right.
But yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing road work. I'm doing some road work. I'm doing a lot of shows in town in Los Angeles. So I'm doing a little bit of everything, man. I'm still writing and trying to get, my next movie project back. Sure. So, man, I'm just working. I'm enjoying it. And I have to be honest with you. I would have never thought, even though I know what the game plan was, but I would have never thought when writing this documentary out where it would be right now. You know what I mean?
Well, my hat's off to you, my friend. Yeah, I could see the hard work in just the trailer. Wow,
thank you.
I could see how much input, because, there's fact finding by itself is, you got to research everything. Right. And so, because said it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So,
yes.
So that is, and by itself, when you're dealing with documentaries, you can't just say, oh, guess what? Your left foot is bigger than your right foot because so-and-so said so. No, you got to find out.
You better make sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was fact check. I have some major names in it. Shane Mosley, Bernard, Mark Breland, Shane Mosley, Carlos Palomino. All former world champions, guys that really were in the game and just told a hell of a story. I think we really got a great story right here.
I think so. So once again, it's Dannon Green. Just a fabulous movie. TubiTV.com. You want to go? The Executioners. We all had a chance. I think you should watch it and share it with your friends. And don't forget, speaking of sharing, like and share this video of John Michaels Rockbox, and make sure you share this with everybody you know. And we just want to say a big thank you to Dannon Green. Dannon, continued success, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to
I'm having a screening. I'm having a screening in LA soon. So if you love to, I'd love to have you come if you're in LA. I'd love to have a screening.
Absolutely.
Screening.
And when you come back out on the road on your tour, on your comedy tour, and you hit Sounds the Improv, which is not far from me, let me know, or we'll let Tracy know to let me know.
I will.
We'll hook up.
Yes, sir. I'd love to meet you in person.
That's fabulous. Dannon Green, again, the movie, The Executioners. We all had a chance, tubetv.com. And don't forget to like and share this. And we want to thank you again, Dannon. And thanks for everybody for hanging out with us here today at John Michaels Rockbox. Well, I'd like to thank you for hanging out with me and this episode of John Michaels Rockbox podcast. And we look forward to having you rejoin us again, as our next episode is going to be entirely just as good as the one you just saw today. So I want to just take a moment to thank a few of the people that helped this podcast go from here to you there. And that would be our producer, editor, Jim Bozo. I got to tell you, without Jim's help, this would be pretty close to non-existent. My business manager and dear friend, Leslie Schneider, videographer, Martin Garcia, a hairstylist, because you can't get this kind of do without somebody taking care of it. And that would be my good friend, Michelle Best. And so help us spread the word of John Michaels Rockbox by telling all of your friends, share the video, tell them to come by and check us out. And don't forget to like and subscribe, okay? Because this won't exist without you. And so I want to say thank you for being with me. And we look forward to seeing you again for the next episode, John Michaels Rockbox podcast. I'll see you then.